Okay, I should be live on Twitch right now, but I don't totally know. So we're gonna find out. Alright, looks like I am live. Take this down. Alright. Looks like I am live. Alright, so this is for all of the none of the people that are here. I'm just going to go into free play for a bit. Well, I mean, maybe someone will be watching this. Oh, interesting. I haven't reached the gecko level yet. I look forward to tearing that apart. So this is Hardspace Shipbreaker. It came out on either the 16th or the 17th, and I've put some amount of hours into it already, and I've really enjoyed it. It kind of fills a video game hole that I didn't know that I had. People say they come across games like this all the time, and this is definitely one of them. So I guess I don't really have anything that I need to do. Let me just see. Yeah, 192 credits, okay. So we're going to start by picking a ship. You can see I'm ship grade 4. There's 3, 2, 1. Oop, and I just hit the wrong button. Alright, well, we're going to get an easy ship first then. Yeah, I think this is literally a training ship. Okay. This is convenient for the no one who is here gets to watch me do a trading ship. But this is a trading ship. So, I mean, this would take me, let me just see. Get the reactor out, get some nanocarbon, get some metal. Yeah, okay. Alright, so we're in space. That is a lot of space, and that's the moon. And Earth is here somewhere. Let me just see. If you get motion sick, I don't know, get better. I don't have that problem with this game at all, but I suppose some... Oh, there's Earth. Ta-da! Oh, yeah, I forgot it's below us. That's the barge. Okay, let's see if I can simplify things a little bit. You are a man with a spacesuit on, and you go into space to try and disassemble ships. You're basically a scrapyard guy, but for spaceships. And you might think that sounds really boring, but that's because you've never tried to remove an antenna off of a ship at like hundreds of thousands of kilometers of altitude away from the Earth, and you're actually out there in a zero-G environment. It gets really weird, and you can do sorts of cool stuff in this game like this. We don't have physics for this yet, but this works here. And there you go. Processed antenna, credits deposited, so I'm rich, game over. But But no, that's basically the gist of this game. So I'm going to start by depressurizing this. Yeah, see? So now it's vacuum of space in here. And now it's nice and tasty air in here. I'm going to turn on my flashlight. And we're going to take a look at this dead space-ass looking ship. So the game is in early beta. Early beta? I don't know. Early access, I guess, is what they call it nowadays. I don't know what to call it specifically, but basically it means that, like, you know, you have the bones of a really good, fun, exciting game. And that's kind of what I wanted to show you guys today. That's why I decided to stream this instead of just playing it again for 3 hours in a row before realizing that I haven't eaten, but I have disassembled an entire fleet worth of starships. Well, these aren't starships per se. These are just, you know, intra-solar vessels. They go, you know, to Jupiter and Mars. I think they were all built on Mars. But this game has a really interesting universe, and a lot of stuff going on that makes it really fun. So I'm just going to get to work disassembling this ship, and let's see if you guys can kind of figure out what's happening. There's kind of a core... Oh, hang on. Did I... Yeah, okay. There's a core series of gameplay loops that happen here that get really interesting once they start interacting. Hopefully this doesn't kill me. Oh, thank God. Sometimes I fuck that up, and it's a bad day. As you can imagine, you're floating in 0G. If you fart, it would push you backwards. So all of the air escaping from a whole ship would literally blow the entire ship, like, into... I mean, you'll see them in a bit, but the garbage. Literally the garbage. Okay. I think we've got a couple of them here, but yeah, still some more to go. So if you haven't figured it out, this kind of starts with finding and zapping all of these construction label... what does the game call them? Connection points? Which is pretty apt. That's exactly what they do. These are the bits that connect each major part of the spaceship to every other major part of the spaceship. And, you know, just like kind of taking the roof off of the car is, you know, not that hard if you melt every corner of it, or if you... I don't know what kind of analogy I'm going for here, but point being, once you get all these boys zapped, these ships, you would think it would, you know, it just comes apart, but you're in zero gravity, and this is where the fun of the game comes in. Like, I have to get this reactor out of here, and because this game is this game and everything is hard and kills you, which we'll get to why that is later and why it's such a good gaming time thing, I'm going to leave the reactor there for a minute. But truthfully, yeah, like... just because you have your ship into pieces doesn't mean you've walked away from the level. Oh, good, you disassembled it. No, you have to scavenge these ships, and you have to move things in 0G where there's not going to be air and friction and gravity to slow things down. It's going to be, you have to dump them in either the process bin or what I like to call the garbage, which is just the furnace. Metal goes in there, fancy future tech goes in there, and below us, the barge, which we saw earlier, that's where you put anything that would be like, oh, wow, you could just go and stick that on any other ship, for the most part. So, for instance, these are engine nacelles, my favorite type, twin nacelles, attached with one connection point. And before you think I'm being weird, playing this game will give you a favorite engine nacelle type. Like, that's the kind of game that this is. That's how this goes. And it's honestly one of the most, like, rewarding and engaging, like, deconstruction simulators I've ever played. You're literally just tearing stuff apart that honestly is kind of Legos. And while this may look totally incomprehensible to you, everything that I'm doing, as it did to me the first time when I had to do it myself and launched more than one of these into completely the wrong exit, everything kind of, you get more familiar with it as it goes on. And what gets better is the game does have I would say a pretty decent, like, RPG leveling type system. You know, you gain extra range and abilities, and we'll see what this does later. It's not just the world's worst space fan. But, like, the game makes itself engaging just in playing it, in solving the puzzles that are spaceships. So you can see this is... Oh, I'm going to run out of oxygen. I'm going to go buy some more oxygen. Just give me a minute. Goodness me. Maybe I should talk... This is a great time to talk about it. So if anyone's ever played The Outer Wilds, you're familiar with the genre. It's the super capitalism in space. Which I know a lot of people go like, oh, wow, it's capitalism in space. Oh, it's so funny. Asimov did it first or whatever. But honestly, this game, it's not too crazy. It's not too crazy. It's not all up in your face or anything like that. But it is relevant. It literally creates the mechanisms for the entire game. And I could go on and on and on for days about regular capitalism, let alone space capitalism, so I won't. But in this game, there are gameplay ramifications of space capitalism. Like, for instance, there is no floor. No, that's not space capitalism's fault. That's my fault. I got rid of it. I sold it. I trashed it. So this is the reactor. We're going to take this out. But you notice how I had to go and buy oxygen. And you would think if you were an employee working in space for an organization, you know, we're humans. We all need oxygen to breathe. Everyone should get oxygen. And that's not how this video game goes. It doesn't care that you need oxygen. If you need oxygen, you'll buy it with money that you earned by selling scrap to the company through the garbage or the computer chute. And it creates this very simple set of, okay, I have to, like, the goal is always get this object from point A to point B. But the way that you physically do that, in how, like, every single thing is this, like, you can see in the UI there, to the right of where it says processor, which you can't see anymore, it says 429 kilograms there, though. That's like a 429 kilogram piece of, you know, what is this? Nanocarbon panel. Now, I don't know what that's made of, but I know what 429 kilograms feels like. It's a lot, and, like, it's just going to keep... As soon as you tug on it with something, it will keep going in that direction. So what I'm using to get my stuff away is... those are called tethers. The ones that pull them to a gate whenever I'm trying to pull something from point A to point B, that's... like, from the object to a point, that is going to be tethers. But this is just your grapple. And this gives you a little bit of basic maneuverability. It's not very strong. Whereas tethers... Weaver. Weaver's great. Weaver is obviously the disembodied voice over the radio. But he's very likable. He comes across as, like, he's not nuts, he's not a company stooge, but he's also not like, oh, can you believe how terrible this is in the company? Like, he's here to make sure that people don't die. And the game opens with a really nice, like, he just says, like, if we could have a minute of silence to begin, like, we don't usually get that many new guys. And it's just kind of a cute way to humanize but not, like, over-labor the point. And I think that is what this game does better than anything else. Every single piece of this game, like, this is what is this, a mackerel ship or whatever? I've disassembled now probably about 3 dozen of these. And I know them, you know, reasonably well. Like, I'm doing a lot of thinking about talking so I can explain what this terrible game is to literally nobody. But the point kind of remains that, like, this game is complex and you have to learn it, and it takes time. But once you do get the hang of it, it kind of feels like breathing a little bit. You don't really know you're doing it until you gotta stop and think about you're doing it, or if you're having a problem doing it. You know, oh, salvage destroyed. Ooh, I'm so sorry. That's my least favorite line, because sometimes like glass, I don't know how to get glass out yet. I literally don't know if it's possible. I don't think I've ever salvaged a piece of glass. Because when you put it in there, you don't get it. And if you put it in there, you wouldn't get the other stuff. And getting the front end of this ship off and over, it's not impossible. But it's not easy. I'm actually kind of glad I just chose a dingus free ship. I might actually go back to free play instead of ruining my career. Because this is a lot harder than you would think it is. And I'm on automatic. So I don't want to be running into... oh, fuck. Sometimes that happens. So if I had one big gameplay complaint about this game, why can you tether an object to itself, and why is there no tether cancel? Like mid-tether. Like you can't... If you place a point down, you have to tether somewhere. Your only other option is literally if you see at the bottom of the left there, at the bottom of the little D-pad, it says release tethers. I'm playing on a keyboard, but that D-pad is still there. It's not too bad. They correspond to like 1, 2, 3, and V for some reason. Work order complete, so I can go home now, and I'm gonna head that way. It is a little annoying when you accidentally drop a tether on an object to itself, which doesn't really do anything. The way tethers work is they contract from one object to another. They apply a force, a pulling force, a tensile force, and you obviously can't pull an object into itself. I will show you one thing while I've got the time, actually. So this is the world's worst space fan, but it's also a deadly laser. And you saw me use this form, but this form is also cool, and it does this kind of thing. If you take this, you do that, and you do that, and you do that. And then here, I can understand being like, alright, I want to tether from like here to here, or like here to here, and then you could do that, and the object will kind of try and pinch itself together, but it doesn't work as much as you'd like to, and it's not worth the whole and now I just wasted a tether. So I mean, this is pretty clearly a really cool game, and it's a lot of fun, and I don't know, I just kind of want people to know about it. I want people to see it, but at the same time, it is in early access. There are lots of things where it's just like, that's not here yet. That, you know, we'll get to that. Like you can see, it's a pretty simple kind of, you know, textual space information heavy UI, but I'm not mad about any of it. It works, and I gotta say, if they keep updating this title screen, if it's all gonna be like, this is some, I think his name's Chris Foss, but I might get that wrong, or no, what's his name? Either way, there's an artist who does some amazing work like this, and this stuff blows me away every time. Every time I boot up this game, it's like, oh my god, that's really cool, and I don't know, I just love it. I have a thing for it. So I'm going to take a bit of a break for a moment, and I will probably be back in just a couple of minutes. Let's just get back to this, and I will see you guys in just a couple of moments.